Hello, everyone. Oh, nice to see you, although I can't actually see you. Yes, we've been absent for a little bit from here, so it's nice to be back. I was actually a little bit nervous, but thinking, well, I haven't done this for a while. The wonderful Bailey Harris has been helping us out over the last few weeks, and you'll see him a couple of days a week, actually, from here on in, which is amazing. Someone said to us, oh, have you had a nice holiday? Sure. No, we haven't had a holiday. In fact, we've been working very hard on this end of it at seeing where we go with the wonderful CCI after we run out of our funding at the end of November. So if anyone wealthy is out there, or you know anyone wealthy, please send them our way. We're looking for another 12 months funding. So that's what we've been doing and scheduling and everything else. So it's quite a lot, this. Yes, so as you can probably tell from my bags, no, we haven't been on holiday, although it is lovely where we are here in Sussex and the sun has been shining wonderfully. So, oh, hello, hi Emma. If you are a subscriber, you know the rules now. You can write in the comments box. If you have any questions, please write them. I'm here for 60 minutes. We're going to be chatting about performer as a business. And what is that? What that is, I'll come on to in a moment. But if you have any questions, if I can answer them, I will. So please write them in the live comment section. If you are watching and you're not a subscriber, shame on you. Become a subscriber, then you can ask questions to any one of our practitioners actually on here. Also, and it will be running out very soon, the backstage offer that we have on. If you're a subscriber, you can go into our community section. In there is a link to backstage.com. And if you're not already on there and you're from the UK, you can get 12 months free access to Backstage and build your portfolio there. You can tell I haven't done this for a while because I can barely speak. Basically, I speak cat, and that's kind of it. I would like to state that if one of our little fluffy children jumps up here, they are part of the CCI as well. So, we'll just have to enjoy that. So let's get on with it. If you are joining now, as I said, please ask questions as we go. Don't save them all to the end. We've got 60 minutes, and I'm going to talk to you covering certain topics. If there are topics that you want me to cover, just write them in. Into the live comments. Chuck those comments, the topics that you'd like to cover. But what am I going to cover? I'm going to cover the CV. I'm going to cover social media. I'm going to cover the agent and your relationship with. If you don't have an agent, your relationship with the casting director, communication with the casting director. And I'm also going to cover success. What is success? Whoa, all that in an hour. We'll try. So I want to start with the basics. Let's warm up. Let's get into it. The CV. So recently we're doing some casting and we are looking for one male vocalist based in Bristol. When we are looking for specifics, because we're in lockdown, and it's, even though it's paid and it's paid nicely for the one couple of days of rehearsal and 1 day of recording, there's still no hotel fee, there's still no travel fee, and also we don't want people traveling around the country as much as we can, so we're looking for somebody based in Bristol. We do searches based on location. So I'll put in location, I'll put in male, I'll put in details of range, of vocal range maybe, or age, playing age, things like that. And I put that in, I press send, and up all these wonderful actors appear. And unfortunately, there aren't very many performers in Bristol. In fact, there are very few, apparently, very few male performers between the age of 25 and 35 in Bristol. In fact, almost none. And that's because most of you haven't put location on there. And now we've had people submit in and people send their stuff in, and lots of them don't have any location. It's fundamental. If you have a base in London, great, put it on there. But you can put more than one location. So if you have a base in Belfast, in Bristol, in Glasgow, put them on there. What we mean by a base is that tomorrow night, you could turn up there, stay for a month, live there happily. Whether it's with your uncle, auntie, grandma, it doesn't matter who it's with. I'm not interested in those details. I just want to know, can you live there happily for a month or as long as the project is going on. And the reason is sometimes budgets don't have the money to be able to look for people from outside of a place, let's say like Manchester. Maybe we want people based in Manchester because the budget for the project, we can't bring people up from London. We can't house them. We can't pay for their travel. We don't have that budget. It's a very decent wage. It's great. It's a great project, etc., etc. But there isn't that excess. Also wanting to support the community within that area. So very often a project like say in Bristol or Manchester or Liverpool, in a provincial city, the producer or director or whoever it is might say to us, listen, we really want to encourage people from the area. We want to create work from people in the area. That's key. And that happens so much, certainly on projects that we work on. So if you don't have that location in, I don't know that you're based there. We always start with a search, so I can't see that you're based there. So basically, we'll talk to agents. Yes, we put breakdowns out and so on and so forth. But part of our job, and part of the fun bit of our job, is finding those talent ourselves and looking for people who may not even get submitted because they don't necessarily have all the criteria, but we find them anyway, and we see and we ask those questions. And it comes from being able to search and find that location. So if you don't have location on your CV, the first thing you do after this session is go to your Spotlight, your Backstage, your Mandy.com, wherever you are, and make sure that your location is on there. Now, I'm not 100% sure on each of those. There's a search, I know on Backstage there is, and I know on Spotlight there is, where we can search location, but put it on there. It is absolutely vital. It also saves that thing when we get agents submit you to us, and that location isn't on there. We then have to go back to that agent and say, listen, you've submitted your client. They look great, but there's no location. Do they have a base in Bristol? Yes, they do. Okay. Now the agent is submitting because they know that they do and they've read the brief, but so many times we get people submitted who are completely wrong for the role. They're not from that location, etc., etc. So we always question it if we think somebody looks right for the position that we're casting. So it's a really fundamental piece of information. Okay, the CV. We're talking about the online CV, obviously, to start with. A big thing about the online CV, which when I say online, I mean attached to Spotlight, Backstage, etc., etc., is having everything. It's a tool, and it's a tool that is something that you should use on a weekly or monthly basis, especially when the industry is running as it normally would. Don't just create it. That's it, and all you look at is adding credits and maybe changing your headshot and popping a reel on. There's that skill section. And as you grow as a performer and as a person through your life, you will add skills on. You will, learn new skills. You'll learn new things. So always revisit. Like maybe you've learned the guitar. Maybe you play basic guitar now, or maybe you've become advanced. Maybe you've got your grade 8. Maybe you've taken up a new sport. Maybe you've learned to horse ride. Maybe you've learned to speak a new language, or you've got your DBS, or you've learned sign language. These things are absolutely vital for your CV. And so start using that skills area. Also, you might not have skills anymore. You might have used to be an amazing field hockey player when you were, 21. Now you're 45 and you haven't played it for 20 years. Take it off if you can't play it. If you're not fit and you're not able to play that anymore. So it's about that as well. These areas are really valuable to us, and they mean a lot to us, and we really do use them. And it's how we look at CVs. Location is a big thing. Then we start with your skill set, then we'll move on to credits and so on and so forth. It's not just about the headshot, and it's not just about the reel. Of course, those things are incredibly important. If you've just joined and you have any questions, please ask them as I go. And also, if you want me to talk about any topics, please ask us as we go through. So the CV is a tool, and always remember that. Remember that it's a tool. Remember that it's to be used in that way. A lot of people sort of say, I'm not getting seen for things. Well, maybe give your CV to a friend. Maybe give your headshots to a friend. Maybe give your reel to a friend. Be professional about this and be business about this. This is not social media and you're looking for self-gratification. If you are asking a question that's very serious because it's going to either get you work or not get you work, then don't be defensive about the information you get back. There's a key to business, and that is listening. The greatest success that you will ever have is to listen, and that will help you grow. You don't know everything. Nobody does. Companies that are successful employ the best people. It's as simple as that. To grow to become a massive company, they go and find the best people to run those departments and to work in those departments. And that's how they become the best. Yeah, they listen, they employ, and they listen. Now you work by yourself. If you're a new grad, something that you have to start to get onto very quickly is that you are no longer a collective. You're no longer a class. You're no longer one of many in your drama school or university that you've graduated from. You're now an individual business. You're responsible for your taxes. You're responsible for your marketing. You're responsible for how you run your business. And something that I always say when we go around drama schools, go all over the country around September and January, February time. And the thing that I always say is to be Apple. Now, I'm not saying Apple are the best products, although everything that I have is Apple. Of course, there are better products out there that can do things that Apple can't do. But when you walk into an Apple store and the way it's laid out, its presentation is immaculate. It's incredible. They invented that whole playing with the item thing, working with the item, the audition. That's basically what it is. You can go and audition their tech. That's a phenomenal thing. They started that. Prior to that, you used to go to PC World and you'd have a plastic version or a laptop that was switched off. Apple came around and went, this is ridiculous. We want people to buy our products. So we want them to audition these products. And that's what they do. And they're presented brilliantly. It's almost impossible for me to walk. I stay away from Apple stores because it's almost impossible for me to leave without having purchased something, some item for my phone or my laptop, whatever it is. And it is brilliant. And the thing is about an Apple product is that you get it home and you take the cellophane off and it all just kind of unravels. And then you get the lid and it opens up and it makes that kind of like sound because it's so perfect. And you take the lid off and then there's that smell, isn't there? That kind of, it's like a new baby's head and it's amazing and everything's wrapped and you keep everything. You keep plastic that has no value, no use to you for weeks on end because it's Apple plastic and the way it's all wrapped and the way it all clicks together and the way it all works and the way it's so beautifully presented. Okay. Now, yes, I'm saying the tech inside, well, that's arguable, for what you want. But it's about that. It's about the presentation. It's about how you present yourself at that audition. It's about how you present yourself within your CV, within your headshot, within your reel. All of these things are absolutely vital to your success. Now, if you don't know any of that, and you do a recording on your phone, and you send it to a casting director, yes, you can still be cast. Of course you can. But I'm talking about it in a business sense, because once you get that casting, you will then look at yourself as a business, and then these things will come clear to you, and you'll be helped and guided, and then you'll learn about the business of our industry. So it's really, really important. And you need to ask advice. You need to ask your friends. You need to, when you get headshots done, don't say which is the best headshot, which looks the most like me. That is the most valuable thing that you can have. Which headshot here looks like me the most? Not which is the best, not that one, because it's the one that won't look like you in the room. It'll look like you on a great night. You're going out and you put your suit on, or you've done your hair nice or whatever it is. But in essence, when you walk in that room, we just want you to look like your headshot, and we just want you to be you. Yeah. So that's really, really important. Reels, you got to make sure these days there are no excuses to not, if you're a singer, to not have some sort of vocal on your reel. For a show reel, you can get something, you can put something on there. Maybe you haven't done any short films or TV or anything, but if you want to get into that side of it, then in this lockdown period, now to open out slightly, there's stuff that you can do. There's stuff that you can do just to show yourself in some way. As long as it's clear, as long as it's filmed, and we can see you, see your face, it's nicely lit, you haven't got too busy a background, things like that. There are ways. And if you have an iPhone or a smartphone, should I say, and you have a laptop, then you have a studio, you have a vocal studio, you have a film studio. If you're watching this, I will get onto your questions in a moment. We're talking about performers in business. Originally, this was done as for notable voices. So if you've turned up for that, sorry you got me. They had a family issue over the weekend. So we're going to be moving them to a later date. So we have a number of sessions which we will put in if people have to drop out for various reasons. So this is it, performer as a business, and we've just been talking about CVs. So that's kind of it overall. Your presentation of your CV, what it looks like, make sure it's a tool, make sure you use it as a tool, that you update it, a little change here and there, make sure you have those skill sets right, add skill sets, take things off that you can't do anymore, you don't feel comfortable doing, and just make sure it's all laid out as well as it can be. And when I say that, it just needs to be clearly read. The other thing with CVs is if you are representing yourself and you write off to somebody, PDF, make sure it's always a PDF, okay? Don't go sending out Word documents. PDF, it can be read on a phone, on a tablet, on a laptop, etc., etc. Okay? So that's kind of the CV, all in all. I've got some questions here I'm going to come on to. Could you talk a bit about self-tapes as well, please? Not on this session, because this is more view as a business. The self-tape thing would probably take off like 30-40 minutes of this as well. So if I can towards the end, but in essence, I'm talking about the sort of fundamentals of the business. So yeah, Naira, if you can just bear with me on that. I want to cover certain points that are more about you as the whole business, if that's okay. But if I do get time at the end, then I will talk about self-tapes as well. Hi James, if sending CV to agents, what about a cover letter? Is it just as important as CV? If so, what's included? Okay, cool. I'll come on to that in a second. So coming on to agents and casting directors and communication. Communication. Unless you are asked, always send an email. Do not communicate through social media. As a rule, I would say most casting directors and agents sit at around 95% agreeing. So most casting directors, 95% of information that we will say to you is the same. Then there's that last 5%, which is how we like things done. So you might get a casting director that says, please don't ever send me WeTransfer, I only want non-downloadable links. You might get another casting director that says, only send me WeTransfer. Those kind of things you just need to find out. And when they send information through for a self-tape or for whatever they want from you, that's just stuff that they will let you know. But as a rule, communication, only send an email or a letter. Save the trees, send an email. Do not communicate through social media unless asked to. I go into, and Rosie we go into our social media, and there are the primary, the general, there's another little place over here, one under the bed, one behind the pillow. I mean, it's ridiculous. And there are two of us, and we have a lot of social media outlets because we run Pearson Casting, we have Pearson Theatre Productions, and we have the CCI, and it's a lot for us. We try and stay on top of everything. But if you're writing a professional and you're contacting in a professional manner, if you go through social media, like I went on my LinkedIn the other day, which we don't use very much, there must have been 55 emails from actors asking to be seen for things. I can't do anything with that. If you send me a message in Facebook or Twitter, I can't collate that. In our email, we have information. So if you write to us and we go, oh, they're right for this project, they're right for this project, you get filed, you get read, you get filed. We'll try and answer. When we're in the throes of casting and lots of projects on the go, we might not be able to answer but you do get read, everything gets watched, and you do get filed. If you write to us on Facebook, I can't file you. I can't communicate with you in that way. And the reason is that if I communicated with you from email and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn and all the other social media outlets that there are, I cannot stay on top of that. It's absolutely impossible for me to stay on top of that in terms of casting details. So if you send a message saying, thank you, I really enjoyed that, or but great. And again, we're so sorry if we don't respond to it all. That's fab. But if you want us to see you for a project, or if you want to write to an agent, you only email or send a letter, but let's say the truth. Yeah. Email, email, email. Yes, a cover letter is important. It doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit of information. For the casting director, we know that you want to be cast. Of course you do. So you don't have to go into too much, but enough information to let us know who you are, what you want to be seen for, what you've seen that we're auditioning for, a link to your whatever it is, online, yeah, Spotlight, Backstage, etc. I'm just going to say Spotlight, it's just easier, but whatever you're on, I don't care if it's Manly or Backstage. If you're not on Spotlight, it doesn't matter, but a link to that, and that's it. Nothing else. On your link, there should be your show reel, there should be a vocal reel, there should be a dance reel, depending on your skill set. What we don't want is that link, then a link, then a link, then a link, then a massive headshot, then a separate CV. It's all too much, yeah? Headshots, when you send them through, make sure they're a thumbnail at the bottom, embed it into your sign-off. Other than that, a simple link to take us to somewhere is really nice. That's what we like. That it can then be collated and it can be filed away. Cover letter, just nice and general. You see that we're casting for whatever it is you'd like to be seen. Please don't expect emails back. That's simply not us being rude. Again, there are two of us, and when we're in the throes of casting, we can be working 5, 6, 7 projects at any one time, and we need to be replying to the people that are right for the projects, or to the agents or producers or directors, whoever's working on those projects. So, but everything gets read and collated. All right, that is a really, really important thing. 1 second. Oh, wow, let's jump. Sorry. When applying for a role in Spotlight, what do you recommend the actor writes in the message to the casting director section? Yes, there's a little box that you can write in. Highlight the skills. So if we're looking for experienced flute players or highly skilled horse riders, that is your chance. In that little box, if you write, was it Georgina? Hi, not too much as well. Just a small paragraph. I'm a highly skilled horse rider who can jump, and etc. Bang. Or I am grade 8 flute. That stands out. That saves us looking for those skill sets on your CV. That really helps. So that's the sort of thing that I would write in there. Lucy, hi James. So would you recommend a homemade vocal reel on your profiles for now, for those of us who haven't yet got professional ones, and how we should label it as roughly relaxed? Okay, cool. So you could call it a lockdown reel. You could say, this is my lockdown vocal reel, meaning I haven't been able to do it professionally through finances or through lockdown or whatever it is. Yes, do it. Make sure it's in pitch. Make sure it's not distorting. You need to play around with it. You need to not do it once, twice and go, yeah, that's amazing. You need to play around with it. Listen to it back, listen to it in headphones, because we always listen to everything in headphones. Normally, we're both working in this office. So Rosie's here, I'm here. And we can't be listening to we can't have it playing in the office, lots and lots and lots. Rosie's, we can't do that in headphones. So listen in headphones and listen to what that's going to sound like for us. Make sure that it's not really, really loud, really, really quiet, really, really loud. That's important. Also, when you label it, let us know what the songs are and where they are. That's really important as well. Okay, good question. Kira, I said that right. Hi James, I did a one-to-one with a CD recently who said they found the locations confusing on my Spotlight and said to keep London, and my agent agreed that they would let them know that I had an Irish base. As it came up for any Irish roles, is this okay? The CD said if they didn't know me, it would be unclear whether I was currently located in Ireland or elsewhere. So what I would say is, as I said just a moment ago, 95% of us say this, another 5%. The key about that is that if I typed in Ireland, you wouldn't come up. So I would put, the way I've always thought of it, you put your primary location first, secondary, third, whatever it is, locations. If I see you've got Greater London, if that can be done on Spotlight. But the other thing about it is that when your agent writes off, they should use that box. Or if you don't have an agent, they should use that box and say, they have a location in. They need to highlight that. But for me, if I was looking for someone in Ireland, you wouldn't come up. So that's the 5% I'm talking about. And that's the thing, I guess, that becomes a little bit of a tug of war between. That casting director gets confused about that. That casting director gets confused about that. That's what it is. Maybe they don't do a lot of searches. That can be one thing. But certainly for us, we search a lot because we do a lot of stuff outside of London. And even stuff that we don't do outside of London, we still do lots of searches around the country for specific areas, for all different sorts of roles. If I'm casting something, I want authenticity. So I never want to hear somebody like me do a Manchester accent anymore. I want to find someone from Manchester because the world is a lot smaller. That's the way we work. That's not everyone. Again, this is the tricky thing about the industry. You will hear so many different things from so many different people. You've got to work it out yourself. Don't always go on what we say. Go on the big things. Don't communicate on every social media to try and get our attention. Don't do that. Send an email. But that makes sense, right? That makes sense to you. Look at all of your social media. Look at all of that. Now imagine 1,000 people a year writing to you about wanting to be seen on all of those. That's nuts, right? How would you collate all those messages that you have from your friends and family on all those social medias? Imagine all of that. Now, how do you collate that? How do you put those into functional filings? So that is one that every casting director will agree with. However, we've done a casting where we used Instagram, and we wanted people to do that. But that's the one time. Other than that, no. But for me, I have to say, if that casting director was sitting here, I'd say they would say that, and I would say I would definitely put it on, because when I do a search, I'm looking for Ireland. Before I put the breakdown out, I want to make my list. So with a casting director, we'll make lists. So before we put a breakdown out, we're talking to the director or the choreographer or whoever it is, and they say, we really want to use people from Ireland, from Cork, from Dublin, whatever it is. They're great. So let's do a list. So I will go on and I will search for people on every platform. I will search through our emails. We will do extensive searches and make a list of people that look really interesting with the right skill sets for the role that we're casting for. If you don't have Ireland on there, I can't find you. So that's what I would say. I'm not saying the other person's wrong by any means. That's just my view on it. So you need to now go, okay, if I was a casting director, what do I think? And the other thing about it is, it's very easy also for me to go, I see 2 locations, I'm just going to ask. So that's the way I would go with that one. Hi James, I apologise if you've already covered this. I have just joined. What advice would be for someone that's about to enter their 3rd year drama school? Thank you. Okay, I'll come on to that. I'll answer that now. Be as quick as I can. Listen, work really hard. That's it. Criticism is not a negative thing. Criticism is a positive thing. Don't take it to heart. When you enter this industry, it's all about criticism. Every single stage of it. Even, I'm not talking negative criticism, I'm just talking criticism. When you go on that stage for that opening night, the first thing that happens is someone sits in the audience and critiques you, critiques your performance. Whether that's right or wrong, that's what will happen. So get really used to not taking everything to heart. Listen, try, go for it. Every skill set that you're not strong in. So let's say you're an actor and you're not great on Shakespeare. Work really hard on Shakespeare. Work so hard on it. Whether you think you want to do it or not, If you're on an MT course and your dance isn't very strong, well, then get dancing. Do extra classes. Don't focus so hard on your dance. I cannot even tell you, because when you leave and you get feedback from those auditions, their dance wasn't strong enough. And you've just had 3 years, yeah? Same with vocals, same with acting, same with all of it. Work on everything, run everything. Don't, when we go into drama schools and there are drama students that are a bit like, oh, I don't really like dance. You're on a musical theatre course. What's going on? What are you talking about? Like, what is there not to like? It's wonderful. I'm not a very good dancer, but my 1 year at drama school that I had, 1 year, I was first, unless my best mate at drama school got in front of me, for everything. We were first across the floor. I loved it. And I mean, you could hear them laughing. So what? Who cares? I have to improve. If you fall over, you get better. It's as simple as that. You don't, if you go on YouTube, you can find this amazing thing about Usain Bolt. And I'm going to get the dates wrong, but let's just, for argument's sake, it was about 20 years ago, I think, maybe 2004. I think he came fifth, sixth. And you watch him each couple of years grow, and now he's the fastest man, I think, still on the planet. He wasn't the fastest man straight off. He had to train. And this is the thing: performers, actors, dancers, and musical theatre, triple threats, you're athletes. You can't stop training. You can't stop learning. And if you leave drama school not having worked on an area because, oh, I don't know if I like it, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. You're paying thousands of pounds for it. So my greatest advice is just breathe. My gosh, it's not like you have a scalpel in your hand and you have a human heart. And you've got to cut in. You're acting, singing, and dancing. It's wonderful. Every time you feel struggle and you feel like you're a bit down that day, remember why you're there. Remember that amateur dramatics performance you did that you loved, or that school production that you loved doing. Remember why you went, because that's what we forget. As we go through our careers, we forget why you went, why you started it. It's a business, and that's what this is talking about. You've got to be focused on the business element of it. But part of that business, you as a business, part of that is remembering that in that it's about playing. It's about being able to play in the audition room. It's about being able to play in that rehearsal room. And the only way you can get to a place where you're free in those auditions and you're free in those rehearsals is to run at everything whilst you're at drama school, university, wherever you're training. Run it at all with your face, like literally. Don't leave not having pushed yourself in a healthy manner in every single area. It's fun. Even the stuff that's hard, who cares if it's hard? It's fun. That's all it is. And if it's not fun, then think again. It's simple as that. We'll come on to what is success in a minute. But, get through it. Get through it in a healthy way. Just laugh at yourself. Self-deprecation is the greatest asset you can ever have, is just to be self-deprecating. Lead the room. If you love a class, but you're a bit embarrassed, and you're feeling like you're struggling a bit mentally because you feel as though you're showing, lead the room. If people are putting you down in a class, in a room, it's because they are insecure about themselves, probably about your talent. So lead the room. Don't sit at the back of it. Lead it. Fall over. Focus. Don't look at anyone else. Don't think about anyone else's comments. Focus. Drive your focus like you wouldn't believe. And when you leave that class, you'll feel exhilarated because you'll have accomplished something. Don't be looking to left and right. If I looked to the right and saw everyone that was much, much better at me at certain things, I would never have got a job. You can't. You've got to stay focused, know who you are, know your skill set, know what you are. Know that sometimes you're in those rooms and it's a bit of a punt, but know what the punts are. Know that some of those things, no, I'm not going to get this. I did an audition of a chorus line, which I was like blown away that I'd even got this. And I did the jazz somehow, managed to get through. They kept me. And then they were like, oh, it's the ballet now. And I was like, oh, what? No. I'm not ballet. So I walked up to the desk, and in those nerves, I can't even imagine someone doing this now, but I would laugh at it and I would let them do it. I walked up to the desk and was like, I'm so sorry. This bit's okay. But my agent didn't mention ballet. And they're like, oh, no problem. I said, oh, I'm going to go. I hope that's okay. I'm like, yes, of course. And I looked down and I saw my CV, and I just took my CV. It was the nerves, and I just sort of walked off, and they were like, oh. And then the audition started, and I just sort of walked out with my CV with all the notes on. I mean, you can't do that, but that was the nerves. And my mate, who went to drama school, stayed in. He can't do ballet. It was hilarious. It was like we should have filmed it. I wish I had. It was that pineapple. Everyone was looking through the windows. We were crying. But he thought, I want to give it a go. Why not? Who knows? They might go, oh, he's not the ballet guy, but he might be this. So don't worry about it, Know that sometimes you're in auditions and it's a punt. Like, I'm not sure I'm going to get this, but hey, I'm here. They'll see me for other things. That panel, this is not the only show they're going to work on. So that's my advice for students. Don't run away from the things that have been like all those things that you've been like, oh, I don't really. Just go for it. Like really go for it, because you're not saving lives. Hope that helps. Please let me know if it does. Hello, James. Hi, Julia. Given the circumstances, is it okay to include a Zoom play performance on your reel? Should I take it off after we get out of lockdown? Yeah, absolutely. Yes to both those things. Violet, this might be a stupid question. No such thing, but I'll tell you if it's stupid. Is there a way to find out which agents a CD works with regularly? How can actors know that their agent is on people's good books if they're not one of the top 10? Okay, so yeah, and this isn't a stupid question, but there isn't a way. The agent will tell you who they're with, and who they pretend with, who they work with regularly. If you go and look at shows, or you can go online and see. Everyone has a website. You can look at all the shows you want to be in, and you can look at the actors, and if there are lots of the same agents, those actors are from lots of the same agents. Well, that's a good clue. But yeah, there isn't really a way that you can find that information. So the agent. So the agent and the casting director writing to them, please communicate only in that one way. Don't also put lots, like if you're writing to an agent and you put 20 agents in and you start the email, sorry, let me let you know, hello, forget it, it'll go in the bin. You've got to reference the agent. You've got to say, I saw a production, I noticed this client of yours was in it, I love that, I watch you on social media, I love your positivity, whatever it is, but you've got to make it focused to that agent. They want you to think, they want to think that you want to be with them forever. Not for 6 months, not a year, that they will look after you for the rest of their lives. That is honestly how an agent will take a client on, and that's the way they want. So they want to feel, even if you're writing to 20 agents, they want to feel as though they're the only person you've written to. Okay? When we would write off to a casting director or an agent, it would be a case of, I'm not going out tonight, or I'm writing the casting directors. We had our headshots printed. They were so expensive. Printed. We'd have a letter, CV photocopied, very expensive to do, and then we'd handwrite letters. Envelope, stamps, another envelope for them to send back the headshot with stamps on as well. And every single, you'd sit and you'd write, and then you put it all in, address, done. You always put the address on, then the stamp, in case you made a mistake. Self-addressed envelope, so that they could send your headshot back. And if you got the headshot back, it meant thanks, but no thanks. and that's it. And it took hours. Now you can do it on your phone. Make sure it's professional. If you send stuff from your phone, send it to your email first. Look what it looks like. Yeah. Hiya, see your casting. Here's my stuff. Is not good enough. That's just not good enough. You've got to. There's something we say a lot, that Rosie and I, that if you ask us to care about you, which we do because we need you, which I'll come on to a second. If you're asking us to care about you, well, we need to see that you care about you. Why am I supposed to care for you and put all this effort into bringing you in the room if you don't care about you? It's so important. You've got to show yourself. Be Apple. Present yourself nicely. And it doesn't really take that much. It's just, we want to see, and as I say, this is me and Rosie, we just want to see that you are, because if you put a little bit of effort in there, and I don't care if there are, I mean, you know, if there's the odd spelling mistake or something like that, okay, everyone makes mistakes, you know, things like that. But if you've put a little bit of effort in, then that tells me a lot about you. It means you'll probably turn up on time. It means that when asked to learn something for the next day or a couple of, you'll probably do it. It's those little things that really matter to us. So that's really key. Remember that a casting director needs you. We need you to be good. So when you walk into that audition room, you're going to be nervous. We know that. We will do everything we can to make you a little bit calmer. We'll talk to you. Don't just race to the pianist or grab the chair to do your monologue. We'll ask you questions. We're not trying to catch you out. We literally want you to be amazing, but we want you to breathe. We want to communicate. We want to get a little bit of information from you. We want to hear your vibe. We want to talk to you. So be prepared for that. Be prepared outside. You're going to come in and maybe have a chat with the casting director or director. Don't be so overly focused that you're unable to do that. Yeah, really, really important. Social media. So I'm going to ask a question to you, and this will be different depending on what age you are. But and feel free to write these in. I mean, you don't have to because your name is attached to it. But I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to talk about something. So a bit more, and then I'll come back to you. I started asking this question towards the end of last year when I was in drama schools, and it's to do with social media. And the thing about social media, a lot of you won't know a world without it. And that's great. Social media has such a fantastic place in this world, and it can be so beneficial. It's great if used correctly. Where it seems to be negative, and this is hands-on experience, and I've now asked this in many, many drama schools and universities, the same question. And that is, when you post a selfie on whatever social media that you are using, and it gets 100 likes, great, fantastic. Then a couple of days later, you post another selfie, and it's kind of the same one, because let's face it, I mean, I go through social media and just see selfie after selfie after selfie, and they're basically the same shot, but you just have some other kind of philosophical saying after it. But it's basically the same shot that you put on 2 days ago. You put that one on and you only get 10 likes. And my question to you is, how does that make you feel? How does it make you feel and what is it that you do as a person when you've got the one that's got 100 likes and then you basically put the same one out and it's only got 10 likes, all right? Now, if you want to write in there how that makes you feel, great. You don't have to. I'm going to talk about something else, and I'll come back to that. How does it make you feel? How do you feel when you go back and you've only got 10 likes on that post? Come back to that in a second. Success. What is success? So this is a really big question for me about success. And I've had a varied career. I was, as an actor, I worked across so many genres. I was very lucky, and I was a performer for about 18, 19 years. And I loved it, and I still love it. When I was a performer, I had my goals. There were things that I wanted to achieve, and that is one thing. And that's very different to what I'm going to say now. I had my goals, and I tell you now, I wish that I was graduating, not necessarily this year, but in this time, because there's so much more work, and there's so much more accessibility to work, to good work, and all over the world. When I graduated in the mid-90s, it was like, tours, some things in Europe, West End, and that was kind of like it. And it was like, and it was, everything was kind of kept to your close circles because we didn't have social media. Now, you don't have to rely on mates. You can just put a tweet out, need some gigs over this time, and you'll get 2,000 people right going, yeah, this is amazing, and all of that. So it's incredible how that's changed. But something that I became very aware of when I was going as a performer was, what is success? What does it mean? And it's different to what goals are. Goals you set to work towards. As a business, you work towards goals. It could be like a financial goal, it could be a career goal, it could be a relationship goal, it could be a production goal, whatever it is. But you should be setting yourself small goals, long-term goals, etc. And they will change as you age and as you go through your career. They will change. And also, where you think you want that goal in 2 years, it will come in 10 years. And you'll have had this incredible journey over those 10 years. And now, because of that incredible journey, you're right for getting to where you wanted to be. Or it could happen within the first week. That's how it goes. But the key for me that I realized and I came to was that success is when you get up in the morning, whether or not you're happy or not. That's success. And why that came about was because when I graduated, and it has changed, but it still exists, the hierarchy of our industry and how we looked down upon each other used to infuriate me so much. It made me bitterly angry for a very short space of time. I went to a college where I learned singing, acting, and dancing because I thought that would be better. Naive young guy thinking, oh yeah, well, I'll learn 3 skills rather than just acting. And I still believe that to this day, that I learned 3 skills rather than just 1 skill. But when I graduated, it was singing and dancing, and it was looked down upon. Musicals were looked down upon. And trying to get even an audition for a play, Shakespeare, was so hard. TV, forget it. It was so difficult. And it really, really wound me up. And what wound me up more than anything was that we're all in this industry as individual businesses together, but we all make this industry up. So why do we do that to each other? Because it only hurts ourselves in the long run. Because I guarantee that nobody has a career where they maintain their success in terms of, no film star I know has not had dips and downs. Theatre actors, it happens to everyone. Every producer, every actor, every casting director, everyone. So why do we do it? Why do we create this imaginary hierarchy? And it used to wind me up because if you were doing a musical in West End, it was looked down upon. But if it was, at the National, rock and roll, you were allowed to, yes, it's at the National, it's a National Musical Theatre. It made no sense to me. And it really landed early for me that success is, are you happy today? And that is the key to it. If you get up in the morning and you say, I am happy, you've made it. That's not an interruption of your goals, but you've made it. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. Again, don't look right and don't look left. Don't judge others and don't care if you're being judged. If you are working and you are loving it, no matter where it is, honestly, you are successful. And that's where we come from as casting directors. That's why we don't pay too much attention to the CV, but we do pay attention to the skill sets. Because we have both, Rosie and I, have such varied and wonderful careers. And when I say wonderful, we achieved the things that we wanted to achieve. As an actor, I wanted to travel. And I went away, and I was doing a fringe production, a brilliant, brilliant show. called Cole, and it was on upstairs at the Gatehouse. And a guy there said, "Have you ever done a cruise?" I was like, "No, I got some cruises when I graduated, but then I got into the West End and I never went." He said, "Oh, you'll love it, mate. You'll absolutely love it." And I was in a really down place. And I thought, and I auditioned and I got a cruise, and that changed my life. And then I went away to do one, and I did 13 cruise contracts as a principal vocalist, and I've been all over the world. I met my wife. I've started businesses. I learnt from Russians and Ukrainians and Americans and Australians and Canadians. I've learnt styles from Australia and America, etc., etc. I've worked with people in America, people in Australia, people from all over the world. And it was the most enriching time ever. And I was so happy. When I first did it, my Western mates were like, "What are you doing, mate? Why are you doing that?" A year later, after seeing all the pictures, they were like, "How do I get to do that? How do I get on that?" So lead the room, lead it, find your happiness, and don't listen to anybody else because they're saying this and they're saying that. That's their journey. And I'm really passionate. Honestly, me and Rosie are so passionate about that. And that's the key to you as a business, is you have your goals, but at the same time, you've got to find happiness in this industry that's really hard, really, really tough. And you'll find that happiness through your own like little moments of just working very good. Some of the best jobs I've ever done, I didn't earn any money for, but I could afford to do them, and I did them, and they're some of the best jobs I've ever done. And it's things like that. I worked in the West End with people who moaned and moaned and moaned and moaned and moaned. They weren't happy. They weren't happy with it. They weren't happy with their lives. So don't think that if I get into that, it will make my life. Not necessarily. Really don't stop the judgment. That is so important. Really stop it. And that is for me is the greatest thing for success. It really is. I've got some things here. It doesn't really bother me because it may just depend on who happens to be online at the time of posting. So I don't think we should take personally or call it right. Oh, so yeah, okay. Self-conscious, and I feel like you shouldn't let success be defined by how many likes. Yes, very good, excellent. Hello, I'm struggling to get an agent self-representing at the moment. Do I need to subscribe to casting platforms other than Spotlight Backstage? Thanks to you. Also, I'd really appreciate it if you give me any advice on how to get an agent. I'm randomly sending emails along with CV, headshot, Spotlight link. I'm not sure if I'm doing right. So I'll come back to Gemma in a moment. Very quickly on this, you just got to keep writing. Have you got a reel? Have you got a show reel? If you're a singer, have you got a vocal reel? If you're a dancer, do you have a dance reel? Do you have some material? Understand that thousands of people are writing to agents all the time. So that thing of a business, you've got to make sure that you're standing out. And standing out is just having the right tools. So have you got your CV? It helps, being on those other platforms helps you to look for work as self-represented. So if you're on Backstage, you can find work. And if you go into the community section now, it will be coming up soon. You can join Backstage if you're not on there already for free for 12 months. But it will help you apply for jobs. So, I might put casting on there and you'll be able to apply for it. So that's, or on mandy.com. So that's the advantage there. The advice is literally a case of you seem to be doing the right thing. Remember the climate we're in. There's no work at the moment. So just breathe, hold off, and just keep writing. But a lot of agents are furloughed. A lot of agents aren't actually working in their offices and so on and so forth. So just relax. It's a very unusual time. Okay. Suddenly, hi James. How do CDs can influence breaking a bit these boxes that we will all put on? It keeps happening that the bad guy drug dealer is a black person, Latina, two main characters, super handsome, and the friends are a bit less attractive. Why do we keep experiencing this? In the end, how customers can push for change in this. So, we only got 6 minutes. I'll come on to that in a second. I just want to answer, this is really important to me, the social media question that I asked, and I'll come on to that. That might actually be a whole other session. My question was, how do you feel? You put a post out, 100 likes, you put another post out, 10 likes, okay? A lot of these students said, I feel terrible, I delete it, I feel worthless, I feel like people don't like me. Now, if you're experiencing any of that kind of thing, then and so to delete your own photo because it hasn't had many likes is absolutely heartbreaking for me. The first time people saw it, I actually just started welling up. That broke my heart that they would delete that. If you look in my photo albums, there are some of the most ridiculously stupid, hideous shots you've ever seen of me and all my mates, and they're the best shots ever. Trying to take selfies on old throwaway phones, disposable phones and things like that, or bombing someone out of focus. I mean, they're the best ones. So to delete a photograph just crushes me. Now imagine you're outside the audition room, and this is back to you as a performer, as a business. So you're in those finals, you've done everything. You know you're a hot favorite. There's you and maybe two others. You've done all the prep work. You are feeling outstanding. And then you look on your phone, which you should never do before you go to an audition, what you might see on your phone to upset you or put you off, put them away. When you turn up to that audition, just focus on that. Only focus on the material. What if you looked at that and you look at that picture and you see you only have 5 likes or 10 likes, and you're one of these people that deletes that photo? You delete part of yourself right before walking into that audition. How on earth are you supposed to walk in with the confidence that you need to nail that role? How can that, that must add to your anxiety incredibly. So be really careful with that. You as a business, focus on what you're using social media for. If you're somebody that takes lots of selfies, that's fine, but make sure they do not matter to you. Make sure that they don't actually, they're not a part of you. Make sure there's something you just do. Yeah, I do it, I don't care. I don't care if anyone likes it or not. Put some stupid ones out there, because this is something that's happening more and more. And we have agents call us and say, my client's outside, they can't walk in, they're having a panic attack. And we do everything we can to help them, make sure they can get through it. But be very careful. That's all I'm saying. Social media as a business is fantastic. You can use it really, really well. But at the same time, be careful about what it means to you. That's the key. So as a business, it's a marketing tool. We use it a lot. But in the same instant, make sure that it's a business tool and it's not personally affecting you, that you don't get very many likes and things like that. All right, be very, very careful. Skills real. On spotlight, yes, definitely, yeah, absolutely. Languages not so much. If you speak languages, I would hope that you're not lying. But if you play instruments, have a 30, 45-second clip of you playing an instrument, the hardest thing that you can play, definitely, most definitely. Just very quickly on Salome's question, casting directors are constantly challenging the question of what people look like, and everything you've said. We are constantly pushing that. That is our job, to ask those questions. We don't make the final decision. That's the key. Things are changing, and they will change, and we work for change. That's the key. That casting directors that we know work very hard for change, and change is very slowly happening. So that is all I can really say about that. This is quite a big topic, and we've run out of time. That is it. I hope you found some of that helpful. It's a massive industry, and it's a massive thing. Just focus on yourself. You're a business. Focus on what you look like to the outside world. Not everything has to be perfect, but things do need to be sort of right. So the headshot needs to look like you. Your reel, your vocal reel needs to be in tune. Your dance reel needs to be you dancing and clear. Your acting reel needs to be, lit well and show you in a good light. Things like that. The CV needs to promote you. It's a tool for you. So it's just little things. Turn up on time. Get there an hour before the venue. Find it. All these little things. Just know what you would want on the other side of it. That's the key. And breathe. Don't stress so much about everything. Be careful about social media and how you use it and why you use it. Why do you use it in the way you use it? Is it benefiting you? If not, change it. Change the way you use that. We're doing industry surgeries, which you can find on our website, which basically covers all of this, where we analyze different areas. They are paid for because they take a lot of time, but it's a resource there for you to use. And so, feel free to go and look at that. It's on our Pearson casting website. But it's all about this kind of stuff. It's all about those observations. There is no 100%. Okay, there is no 100%. Like the casting director saying, "Well, it confuses me. I don't know where you're located." Yeah, you're always going to come across those things. So don't just rely on us. Some things, yes. Communication, make it clear. Labeling self-tapes, sending stuff back, make sure it's done on time, turn up to your auditions on time. All of those kind of things as a business. Yeah, everything that you want from when you sit in a restaurant, when you buy a product, when you get something delivered, all of those things that are important to you, remember that as a business. That's how we work. Rosie and I, when we set up the CCI, that was ridiculous. We did it in like 14 days, but that's not the case. And don't worry about that. But it was sitting down. We had to work very fast, work backwards. What does the client want? You're the client. What do you want from this? Okay. What do the practitioners need? How does this work? Blah, blah, work back. And you work relentlessly until you think, okay, I think that structure works, and then evolve. Things are going to change. You're not going to nail it and that's it forever. Things will change. Yeah, things will adapt. Address your skill sets. Make sure that you are adapting and changing and learning. And I don't want to say I play football anymore, because I don't really play football anymore. Take it off. Yeah, use the highly skilled asterisk. Really, really important. As I say, thank you for all those thank yous. I'm just checking through to see if there's anything. Oh, wow. Oh, that's very kind. Not very touching. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm just seeing if I've missed anything. We want more of this Q&As with you. Oh, Salome. Well, we are going to start adding them in, but we can't do too much on here because it's about the sustainability for practitioners and so on. But when people can't make it, we will be doing these things, and maybe once a month. We'll do these. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's been wonderful being here. Bailey is fantastic. He will be back here actually in about 10 minutes. And we have the wonderful Jessica Louise Parker, who's doing some yoga. I hope you're all enjoying this. Hope you're using this platform. Please promote it at CCI 2020 on Twitter. When you see something, please retweet it. And the same on Insta. Add it to your stories as much as you can. We really want to grow this out. We want it to become as big as it can possibly be. And also more of that will help us try and get funding so it doesn't end at the end of November, because that would make us cry. So thank you so much. It's been wonderful. I really appreciate you being here. And we'll see you all back here at 4:45 for us.